The Samsung Galaxy S7 is now a reality and it feels awfully familiar, and not just because the rumors checked out. Rather, the Galaxy S7 looks and feels a whole lot like the Galaxy S6 does, and that can be both a good or a bad thing depending on who you ask. What's changed though? It's time to take our first look and share our initial impressions. Starting with design, what we saw before Samsung's Unpacked event is indeed what we got. A slightly modified Galaxy S6, the S7 nevertheless offers a few improvements on the formula. There are two main areas where this is apparent, and the more obvious one is the back of the S7. Taking cue from the Note 5, the Galaxy S7's back features the same curved glass that seeps into the metal frame of the phone, giving a more ergonomic feel in the hand. The device handles splendidly, though it should be noted that we immediately felt that it's heavier and slightly thicker. This didn't actually detract from our experience, though we are certainly disappointed to see that Samsung has done nothing to better protect the back from fingerprints. Rotating to the front, the main differentiator is the slightly improved physical home button. It feels less rigid and more clicky, so good stuff on this front. Finally, it's good to see Samsung continuing to work on miniaturizing its tag, as this has resulted in a slightly smaller Galaxy S7 compared to the S6. Samsung refrained from commenting on display properties, so a gambling man would assume that everything has stayed the same. Like the Galaxy S6 before it, the S7 sports a 5.1-inch display with a Quad HD resolution. Since we refrain from making conclusions about display quality without conferring with our gear, we're guessing that things like color fidelity and maximum brightness are near identical. On a more positive note, the Galaxy S7 will improve upon its forerunner by including an always-on display feature. It works by dimly lighting up a few pixels to show you the date and time. Alternatively, you can have your calendar or a custom image, and Samsung tells us it will be letting third-party developers add their own creations to the list. At the surface, the TouchWiz build offered with the S7 doesn't much differ from the Galaxy S6. Digging deeper, however, reveals a few changes courtesy of Android Marshmallow, along with some design updates. The most noticeable of these is the notification panel, which is redone in white, along with the settings menu. Apart from that, however, it's pretty much the same old user experience, though the unit we tested felt snappier than before. It's also interesting to note that the Galaxy S7 has a feature that kills the app drawer, in line with what LG has done with the G5 and a departure from what previous Samsung devices have offered. So if you like the app drawer, you can keep it, it's on by default. But if not, you can do away with it. The Galaxy S6 was a bit of a watershed event for Samsung last year, as it marked the first time the company strayed away from Qualcomm's loving hands. Instead of offering a Snapdragon processor, the company finally felt its Exynos system chips were up to the task and ditched the US-based silicon maker. But now, Qualcomm is back, and so is the old arrangement. Buyers within the US will get the quad-core Snapdragon 820, while most other regions will be treated to Samsung's Exynos 8 series chips. Paired with that are 4GB of RAM versus 3GB for the Galaxy S6. Finally, and this is a big for a lot of Samsung fans, the microSD card slot is back with vengeance. Indeed, for regions like the US, the SIM card tray will be integrated with a microSD slot, while regions where dual SIMs are popular will have a hybrid microSD/SIM slot and the option to use it however they see fit. Finally, listening to reason and not marketing people, Samsung has ditched the 60-megapixel camera of the Galaxy S6 and done the seemingly unthinkable: go for a lower resolution unit. But that's actually a step in the right direction, for the new 12-megapixel camera offers vast improvements in the areas that count, like pixel size. This is not to say that the old sensor was disappointing, but we're far more excited to benchmark the new camera, especially since it's paired with f1.7 lens. Theoretically, along with the increase in pixel size, the snapper of the S7 should deliver an improvement in light sensitivity somewhere in the 90% ballpark over the S6. That's not all, however, as the face detection autofocus mechanism of the S7 has also seen huge improvements. According to Samsung, instead of making use of just 0.7% of the pixels available with the S6, the new sensor is using all of them. This has helped decrease the time needed to lock focus by a factor of 2 under normal lighting and a factor of 4 in dark. The freedom of snapping great photos wherever you are has long been one of the top reasons to get a smartphone. If you're nodding your head in agreement right now, then the Galaxy S7 is definitely going to be worth checking out. On paper, and from what little we've seen so far, the main camera unit has seen some meaningful improvements. In regards to design, we can't complain. The Galaxy S6 finally gave Samsung a reason to be proud of its designers, and the S7 iterates on that with worthwhile improvements. So if you're an existing S6 user simply trying to decide whether the S7 is worth the investment, it will probably come down to just how much you value low light photography and hopefully battery endurance. Thanks for watching, folks. This was Chris with PhoneArena.com. Make sure to stay tuned for more coverage as MWC 2016 unfolds.